statement.
To world news. Tonight, the housing crisis goes from bad to worse, with sales hitting a 5-year low and the unsold inventory of homes reaching an 18-year high. Unholy matrimony. A powerful cult leader is found guilty of rape by accomplice, a case that exposes a secret world. Target Iran, a rare visit to the site of a new U.S. military outpost designed to keep Iran's influence and arms out of Iraq. And the silent treatment, a whole host of new gadgets that silence noisy neighbors. Our reporter demonstrates sneaky ways to get peace and quiet.
From ABC News headquarters, this is World News with Charles Gibson.
Good evening. You can see the evidence in your own neighborhood. Drive around, start counting the for sale signs. Today we learned existing home sales fell more than 4% last month to their slowest pace in 5 years. And the number of unsold homes is now at an 18-year high. There is no relief in sight. Many more foreclosures are expected. And our business correspondent, Betsy Stark, is here tonight. Betsy?
Charlie, one economist summarized today's housing report as horrible with worse to come. Just a week after the euphoria created by the Federal Reserve's half-point cut in interest rates, it's back to the cold, harsh reality of a housing slump that threatens the rest of the economy. Today's report on home sales was expected to be bad, and by that grim yardstick, it did not disappoint. Home sales have plunged almost 13% from a year ago, and home prices are falling right along with them, down 4% from a year ago and expected to fall further. Few parts of the country are being spared. Home sales were down in all regions, and home prices have now fallen in 15 of the nation's 20 largest cities, with the worst declines in California, Florida, and the Midwest.
Home prices have a long way to go before they find bottom. This housing market is absolutely going to get worse before it gets better.
The credit crunch that brought mortgage lending to a virtual standstill last month was behind today's bleak news. It made it hard for buyers to get financing while sellers continue to flood the market with homes.
All the cherrywood cabinets.
As the glut of unsold homes keeps growing, sellers like Terry Trigili say it's harder and harder to attract buyers. Her San Antonio house is surrounded by brand new homes the builders are trying to sell.
The basic problem in a nutshell definitely is that there are about 70 more houses in the development that are my exact model and floor plan. And if they could get all the incentives that the builder is offering, that's where they're going to go.
Builders are having problems of their own. Lennar, the second largest home builder in the country, just reported a $500 million quarterly loss and has cut its workforce by 35%. Even with incentives and discounts, it's tough to find buyers.
With prices falling, home buyers, potential home buyers are going to sit in the sidelines. They're not going to get in this market right now, and I don't blame them.
Of course, as long as home buyers sit on the sidelines waiting for prices to stabilize, home sales are likely to keep falling. Economists said again today it's likely to be rough sledding in this housing market at least through the end of next year, Charlie.
ABC's Betsy Stark reporting. Thanks. Well, we're going to go next to the United Nations, where President Bush spoke to the annual gathering of world leaders as the General Assembly opens. And as one of our reporters put it this morning, what a difference 5 years makes. 5 years ago, the president's focus was terrorism and his argument that Saddam Hussein was a danger to the world. Today, the president was talking about very different issues and different parts of the world. Our chief White House correspondent, Martha Raddatz, is at the UN tonight. Martha?
Charlie, there was a remarkable change in the president's tone and in his message as well. Outside the UN today, hundreds of protesters angrily denounced the president's Iraq war policy. Shame on you! But inside the hall, President Bush mentioned Iraq only once, focusing instead on human rights around the world.
This great institution must work for great purposes, to free people from tyranny and violence, hunger and disease, illiteracy and ignorance, and poverty and despair.
In years past, the president came here to talk largely about Iraq or Iran or Afghanistan. Today, the president singled out Zimbabwe.
The government has cracked down on peaceful calls for reform.
Sudan.
In the Darfur region, many are losing their lives to genocide.
And Cuba.
The long rule of a cruel dictator is nearing its end.
That statement caused the Cubans to walk out. The president's strongest words were aimed at Myanmar, where Buddhist monks have led tens of thousands protesting Myanmar's repressive military dictatorship.
Basic freedoms of speech, assembly, and worship are severely restricted. Ethnic minorities are persecuted.
Mr. Bush backed his words with action, calling for stronger economic and travel bans on the regime's leaders. Late today, another closely watched speech from Iran's President Ahmadinejad, always controversial.
Human rights are being extensively violated by certain powers, especially by those who pretend to be their exclusive advocates. They use various pretexts to occupy sovereign states and cause insecurity and division.
Ahmadinejad clearly making a not-so-subtle stab at the United States, Charlie, but that was not really a surprise.
Martha Raddatz reporting tonight from the United Nations. Although the president, as Martha said, barely mentioned Iran today, Iran and Iran's role in Iraq remains a major preoccupation of the administration. In Iraq, the U.S. military is building a base practically within shouting distance of Iran, an extraordinary step designed to keep Iran's weapons and influence out of Iraq. Our Terry McCarthy went to the Iran-Iraq border.
It will be called Combat Outpost Shocker. It will hardly come as a pleasant surprise to Iran that the U.S. will have a new base just 5 miles from its border. Colonel Mark Mueller says it is the first time the U.S. military will be that close to Iran.
Obviously, they probably won't be very happy about it.
The U.S. accuses Iran of fighting a proxy war in Iraq, smuggling sophisticated roadside bombs and long-range rockets that kill Iraqis and Americans alike. Now, U.S. commanders want to crack down on cross-border arms smuggling. The Shocker base will be home to about 200 soldiers, as well as agents from the U.S. Border Patrol.
We're standing right on the border. Behind that wall is Iran. Now, about 300 trucks a day cross over the border here. At the moment, the U.S. can only fully search about 3 or 4 of them.
With more manpower and technology, like this X-ray machine for trucks, the U.S. will know better where to look.
As we get more coalition capability down here, we'll be able to develop some of that capability. We can get some of the cell phone conversations between the buyer and the seller, times, types of trucks, and we're getting better at that all the time.
The new base is part of a bigger struggle for influence in Iraq between the U.S. and Iran. In the past year, American troops have detained at least 17 Iranians in Iraq for alleged weapons smuggling. The U.S. and Iran are not engaged in a shooting war, but a war of wills has already begun, and Combat Outpost Shocker will be right on the front line. Terry McCarthy, ABC News, on the Iraq-Iran border.
Back in this country, the final chapter in a legal saga that exposed a world of forced marriage, teenage brides, and religious extremism. Just a few hours ago, in Utah, a jury found Warren Jeffs, the leader of a renegade Mormon cult, guilty of being an accomplice to rape. ABC's Dan Harris has been covering the trial in Utah.
Warren Jeffs, a self-proclaimed prophet said to have 70 wives, stood impassively as he was convicted of crimes that could land him in prison for life.
The defendant is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Guilty of 2 counts of being an accomplice to rape for arranging a ceremonial marriage between then 14-year-old Elisa Wall and her 19-year-old cousin. Warren Jeffs yields enormous power as the head of a religious group. Elisa Wall says Jeffs used that power to force her into a marriage she did not want, a situation she says Jeffs knew would involve sex.
This trial has not been about religion or a vendetta. It is simply about child abuse and preventing further abuse.
But in court, defense attorneys tried to argue that this trial was all about religious beliefs, that Jeffs was being persecuted for polygamy, a hugely divisive issue in this heavily Mormon state where the mainstream church outlawed it in 1890.
Mr. Jeffs was never told by anyone. We believe the evidence will show that she was being raped.
During the course of the trial, a lot of new information has come out about what it's like to live in Warren Jeffs' church. Many of his estimated 10,000 followers live here in these 2 towns behind me, Hilldale and Colorado City, 2 isolated towns along the Arizona-Utah border. It's a place where outsiders are feared, and Jeffs controls what people wear, the police force, who marries whom, and who has access to heaven. Two of the witnesses produced iPods on which they listened to Jeffs' long, hypnotic sermons about how to live.
Your all, your money, your time, your everything belong to the prophet.
With the self-proclaimed prophet now looking at life behind bars, the question is whether his influence will wane or whether he'll now be seen as a martyr with even more power. Dan Harris, ABC News, Hilldale, Utah.
And still ahead on this broadcast, the nightmare in the skies today, paralyzing airline delays. The new recommendations to improve air traffic. We'll take a closer look. 9 brave teenagers who changed America, how they were welcomed back to the school they integrated 50 years ago today, and how to strike back at bad drivers and all the other pests of modern life. It's called Revenge Technology.
This is World News with Charles Gibson. Brought to you by the people of America's oil and natural gas industry.
It fuels our lives and creates the products we depend on. It powers our workforce. It brings us home and gives us warmth. It lets us travel the earth and reach for the sky. Vital for life, too precious to waste. Oil and natural gas. Together, let's use it wisely. Learn more at energytomorrow.org.
To keep your heart healthy, you may need to cut things out of your diet. Things like trans fat and things high in cholesterol. Bisquick Heart Smart pancakes have authentic Bisquick taste, 0 grams trans fat, and no cholesterol. Bisquick, real pancakes, real good.
Cholesterol. It can come from a casserole, creamy tuna and peas, and your grandmother, Louise. From Mom's lasagna, extra cheesy, and your pop, Petey. A healthy diet is important. When that's not enough, adding Vytorin can help. Cholesterol comes from 2 sources, food and family. Vytorin treats 2 sources. Only Vytorin helps block the absorption of cholesterol from food and reduces the cholesterol your body makes naturally. Vytorin was also proven in clinical studies to lower bad cholesterol more than Lipitor alone, more than Crestor alone. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Tell your doctor right away about unexplained muscle pain or weakness, which may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Certain medicines or foods may increase your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. So eat right, stay active, but if that's not enough, ask your doctor about adding Vytorin, 2 sources of cholesterol. Treat them both with Vytorin.
Have people noticed a change in you? You may be a numismatist, a coin collector, but now there's hope. Genuine United States Mint coins. Visit usmint.gov. Genuinely worthwhile.
No one comes into our house and pushes us around. Whose house is this? Mucus's house!
When mucus huddles in your chest, the congestion doesn't quit.
Whose house? Mucus's house!
That's why there's Mucinex. Mucinex is specially made to break up mucus that causes congestion.
Not now! It's a blowout!
And only Mucinex lasts for 12 hours.
Can we play at your house?
Mucinex in, mucus out.
This was a wretched day to be flying. Communications equipment failed at the Air Traffic Control Center near Memphis. Hundreds of flights were grounded or delayed across the nation. And you can actually see the impact on this map. Each dot represents a flight in the air this afternoon, and for 250 miles around Memphis, there was minimal air traffic. It has been a bad year in general for air travel. Today, the Department of Transportation's Inspector General issued a scathing report on 2 high-profile incidents last winter. And our Lisa Stark takes a closer look.
In February, it was thousands of JetBlue passengers stuck during an ice storm, some for as long as 10 hours.
It was just a nightmare.
Just 2 months earlier, American Airlines stranded passengers on planes in Austin, Texas for 6 hours or more. The report blames the airlines for not having policies to deal with long onboard delays. And it says airlines, airports, and the government need to do much more to head off incidents like these. Among the recommendations, that airlines define what constitutes a long onboard delay and provide for passengers' essential needs. that airlines set a time limit on how long passengers can be stuck on planes before they have a chance to get off.
A huge difference. Right now, they can hold you indefinitely.
Kate Hanai has been crusading for passenger rights since getting stuck on one of those American flights last December.
By defining what is an excessive ground delay, then there will be a consistent time frame that everyone can follow.
The report also recommends that airports monitor lengthy onboard delays and contact airlines after a plane has sat for 2 hours to see what the airline intends to do. And airports, airlines, and the FAA should work together to set up contingency plans to deal with lengthy delays.
But industry analysts say there are times where it's extremely difficult to get stranded passengers off of planes in dangerous weather or when there are simply no gates available.
If you're going to say this will make it impossible for people to be stuck on airplanes and inconvenience for 4 hours, keep on dreaming.
JetBlue and American have new policies to deal with lengthy delays. These recommendations, if adopted, would force all airlines to do so and to stick to their promises. Lisa Stark, ABC News, Washington.
There are strategies you can try to use to avoid delays when you schedule a flight, and you can find them at our website, abcnews.com. And when we come back, 50 years ago, they changed the country by walking through a door. Today, the Little Rock Nine's historic homecoming.
Glad Force Flex trash bags are so strong. One bag is all you need to pick up the pieces from even your biggest disasters.
Where do you want the piano?
Get Glad Force Flex and find out why 7 out of 10 consumers prefer it over the other leading brand.
Working late giving you dry eyes? Introducing Visine Tears Lasting Relief. Its advanced dry eye formula is made to stay on the eye longer for relief that lasts.
Finally!
New Visine Tears Lasting Relief.
Burning, itching. Oh, I should have used Preparation H.
And for extra relief, use Preparation H medicated wipes first. Unlike most ordinary wipes, they relieve while you clean. Then apply your Preparation H. Medicated wipes from Preparation H, the relief expert.
Vitamin D is a key to calcium absorption, which helps keep bones strong. Caltrate has advanced levels of vitamin D. Keep your bones strong to keep your body strong. Caltrate, the key to strong bones.
If you've tried more than once to quit smoking, you know it's a challenge that's not for sprinters. If only you could manage to stay on that quitting road. Discover prescription Chantix. The Chantix approach is twofold. A non-nicotine pill with a program. The pill helps keep nicotine from reaching key receptors in the brain. It can effectively reduce that urge to smoke. And should you slip up, keep trying. Reach out for support. Tell your doctor which medicines you're taking, as they may work differently when you quit smoking. Chantix dosing may be different if you have kidney problems. Side effects may include nausea, trouble sleeping, changes in dreaming, constipation, gas, and vomiting. Studies show 44% were able to quit at the end of 12 weeks. So talk to your doctor about Chantix. It's all about getting there.
Earwax buildup can lead to discomfort, pressure, even hearing loss. Now there's new Murine Irrigate. Its unique reverse spray nozzle sprays backwards to clean your ear canal without pressure on sensitive eardrums. Murine Irrigate helps prevent earwax buildup.
The Supreme Court has agreed to hear 2 high-profile cases this term. The court is going to consider the constitutionality of lethal injection as a method of execution to carry out the death penalty. There are suits that allege the drugs may cause prisoners to suffer cruel and unusual punishment. And the court will hear arguments on whether all voters need to show a government-issued ID before beginning to vote. A law concerning voter identification has been challenged on the grounds that it could discourage minority voter turnout. On this day, 50 years ago, 9 brave, frightened, threatened Black teenagers integrated Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. It was an important day in this nation's history. 3 weeks earlier, they had been turned back at the door by a racist mob screaming about lynchings. But President Eisenhower sent the 101st Airborne to protect them. And on September 25th, they started school. Well, today there was another crowd outside Central High School, but this one was cheering the Little Rock Nine, who all returned to school today. And ABC's Steve Osunsami reports.
Half a century ago, they dared to integrate Little Rock Central High School and were greeted with spit and threats to their lives. Today, those 9 black students who made history came home and walked through the school's front doors to the sound of applause. They were welcomed by former President and Governor Bill Clinton and a long list of other dignitaries. They were followed by the high school's current senior class, more than 600 students, more than half of them African American.
These men and women who sit behind us, you were right. Those who opposed you were wrong.
The events here today were such a world away from the near riot that broke out in front of the high school in 1957.
And it's not right. They have schools just as good as ours.
All across the South, there were state and local governments and many white residents who were furious with court-ordered desegregation.
The white people have rights too. Negroes aren't the only ones that have a right.
Elizabeth Eckford, one of those people she was referring to, says it was a tough school year.
It was being scalded in the shower. It was being body slammed against the wall lockers every day. And my only protection was my binder that I held close to my chest to protect that part of my body.
At Central High School today, there are still signs that change is slow. Advanced placement courses are mostly white. Remedial classes are mostly black. When the students do sit together, it's on opposite sides of the room.
I think people look at Central and say, oh, we should, be so different and everything should just be so blended and everybody should just want to walk around and hold hands or whatever, but it's just like it couldn't have happened so fast.
She says that 50 years may seem like such a long time, but it's not. Steve Osunsami, ABC News, Atlanta.
And what became of the Little Rock Nine? Well, Ernest Green became an Assistant Secretary of Labor during the Carter administration. Terrence Roberts is a chairperson of the Masters in Psychology program at Antioch College. And Thelma Mothershed Ware taught 28 years in the East St. Louis, Illinois school system. In addition, a realtor, a banker, a reporter, an accountant. Ordinary lives forged in extraordinary times. And when we come back, waging war on those annoying cell phone callers, new devices that can shut them down.
I love baseball so much. If I could play instead of sleep, I would. But my mom always thinks about my asthma. She worries when I wake up and start coughing at night.
Do more to help control your child's asthma. Taken once a day in the evening, Singulair works round the clock to help prevent asthma symptoms. Ask your child's doctor about Singulair, a simple-to-take cherry chewable tablet made with kids in mind. Singulair is steroid-free and is available for children as young as 12 months. Singulair is also approved to help relieve seasonal allergy symptoms. Singulair will not replace fast-acting medicines for sudden symptoms. Your child should continue taking their own asthma medicines as prescribed. If asthma symptoms get worse, contact your child's doctor at once. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Join the millions of people with asthma who have discovered Singulair.
I just want to play. Play!
Ask your child's doctor about Singulair today.
If you want the better vitamin C that provides 24-hour immune support, look for the one and only Ester C. Bolster your immune system with Ester C, the better vitamin C.
Keeping control of a busy emergency room, Janet is a formidable woman. But she was no match for something smaller than the tip of a pen. It KO'd Janet so fast, she didn't know what hit her. It was a clot. Like Janet, if you've been hospitalized with heart-related chest pain or a certain type of heart attack, what doctors call ACS, chances are you've had a clot. But now Janet's doctor is helping increase Janet's protection against heart attack or stroke by putting Janet on Plavix. Plavix, taken with other heart medicines, helps provide greater protection against heart attack or stroke than other heart medicines alone by helping keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase. To minimize this risk, always talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. Additional rare but serious side effects could occur.
Ask your doctor about Plavix today, because no matter how formidable you are, you're no match for a dangerous clot. If you take Plavix with other heart medicines, continuing to do do so will help increase your protection against a future heart attack or stroke beyond your other heart medicines alone. You may be feeling better, but your risk never goes away. Help stay protected. Stay with Plavix.
You haven't seen Boston Legal till you've seen the special 90-minute season premiere.
That cost extra?
Emmy winner James Spader
Make me an offer.
is this year's best actor. Boston Legal premieres tonight at a special time, 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC. Start here.
Coming up next at 6:30, state managers get a massive pay raise on your dime. The governor says it's needed to keep quality people in place. K2 goes in search of the proof and what Lake Oswego schools are doing that could take money from your district. It's all next.
Finally tonight, everyone rages against the machine. And we were fascinated to learn that last year there were more than 400,000 patent applications for new products. That's double the amount of 10 years ago. And many of those were for inventions designed to block out the effects of earlier inventions that were thought to be progress. Here's ABC's John Berman looking for some peace and quiet.
They say necessity is the mother of all invention. But in these times of TVs blaring, cell phones screaming, and horns a-honking, annoyance might be a close runner-up. Joe Moriello is a tour bus operator who was sick of honking horns, and he was sick of being sick of them.
If you have constant pain, you get used to it. If you're in a bad relationship, you get used to it. If you're in a bad job, you get used to it. And I don't think that's necessarily a good thing.
So he invented a device to track how much you honk and when, that could be checked when your car gets inspected. Phil Terone of Make Magazine, a journal for inventors, says it's all part of a new genre called revenge tech or design noir.
They're a social statement saying this device shouldn't exist. We should live in a world where this device shouldn't exist.
Sick of people yapping on cell phones in restaurants and movie theaters? The wave bubble is a small transistor that jams cell phones.
Hello?
Honey?
Yes?
I tried it with my wife.
I never used what?
So you just shut my wife off completely? In England, there's a sign called Drive Emotion, which tells drivers behind you what you think of their skills. And then there's TV Be Gone. Its enemy, loud TVs, which you can turn off with a click. I tried it out at a local sports bar. The bartender was impressed, but he smelled trouble.
It's interesting, but it seems almost like an act of war, I think, to come in and just start, clicking off games willy-nilly.
If it is war, there is already an arms race. And may the best gadget win. John Berman, ABC News, New York.
And that is World News for this Tuesday. I'm Charlie Gibson, and I hope you've had a good day. For all of us at ABC News, have a good night.
Starting Monday. For 4 Mondays in October, World News with Charles Gibson presented with limited commercials. More time reporting from all across the globe and from all across our country with breakthrough American success stories. It's the key to success, starting Monday.
Yesterday, the women rocked the dance floor. Tonight, the men set it ablaze.
The game is on!
It's night 2 of Dancing with the Stars' 3-night premiere event. Live tonight, 8/7 Central on ABC.
Now on K2 News at 6:30.
Huge pay raises for managers of state agencies, and you're paying for it. So we ask why now and why so much.
Plus, a K2 crime alert. Pictures you've got to see of a man snatching thousands of dollars from a bank customer's hands. And paying to go to a public school. How one school district is trying to attract new students and how it could hurt your district.
This is K2 News, Portland's fastest growing evening newscast.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. Our top local story, huge salary increases for thousands of state workers paid for by your tax dollars.
The governor approved the raises for state department heads and managers. So we sent our Salem Bureau Chief, Melika Johnson, to find out if they're really needed.
The governor is giving state department heads and managers an 11 to 24% pay raise.
And if we're not competitive in salaries, it's going to be difficult to get the caliber of people that Oregonians really deserve.
State spokesman Lon Hocklin is left to justify the controversial salary hikes,
since the governor was unavailable for comment.
I mean, how does the state justify that?
Well, the state justifies it by the need